Welcome to the Backyard Professor Responds videos. I've just run across a remarkable interview from Jeffrey Mishlove of U.S. military Colonel John B. Alexander, a no-nonsense, fabulous, famous military man who really got things done. And he believes in UFOs. And what he says in this interview is very intriguing to me, because I just recently watched another video interview of which I am just chomping at the bit to do a commentary on, from Richard Dolan. So I'll leave that hanging as a little bit of a mystery for the moment. John B. Alexander just blows my mind. Now, I really have to emphasize this. This man is hardcore military, no nonsense. What he says is just incredible. Let's take a look at this. I am so intrigued and so excited for yet again another expansion of our hopeful ability to comprehend, to grasp, understand, and improve our own insights. Increase our ability to fathom what is impossible. This is phenomenal. Let's take a look. Make sure this is on. Okay, it is on. Let's listen to Dr. John B. Alexander, retired military colonel.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've also pointed out in your book that the government of the United States, as well as other governments, acknowledge there is a real phenomenon going on.
Oh, yes. And the first line of my book is UFOs are real, and I mean that in the most physical sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, I end, as you kind of alluded to, whatever this is, it is far more complex than we ever imagined, or maybe than we could imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, no nonsense. UFOs are real. Now, being in the military, and he says this in this interview, I won't share this part of the interview. It is in this interview. I will leave a description of where I got this on Mishlove's website. He says in this interview he was very cognizant, understood, and realized the implications of the UFOs who shut down the United States nuclear rockets, as well as the very startling material that the UFOs started up the Soviet nuclear rockets, scaring the hell out of everybody in both cases, that we are not in as much control as we like to imagine. The military in both countries know that it was UFOs who did this. There's no doubt in their mind. That's food for thought for skeptics. So let's keep going. I will forward this just a little bit to here. 424. I'll skip that little small part. Okay, here we go. Close enough. Okay, listen to this. This is part of the remarkable part that I discovered. I had no idea John Alexander was thinking in these terms. Fantastically amazing.
Up is because, as I understand it, you now believe that if we're going to understand the UFO phenomenon, we have to look at it in this wider context, including interspecies communication, shamanism, higher states of consciousness, and so on.
Right. Remote viewing. I did a lot of work with near-death studies. I was once the president of the International Association for Near-Death Studies. And it is my premise that somehow all of these phenomena are connected. One of the problems in looking at it is we tend to stovepipe. And I think in doing that, you cut off a lot of the information that would be helpful in understanding a theoretical basis, which does not exist at this point.
By using the term stovepipe, I think you mean trying to see it as a single discipline rather
Correct.
than an
Yeah.
interdisciplinary approach.
Very, very much so. And yeah, you look at near-death experience, poltergeist, remote viewing, UFOs, and they cut off access of the information in between. And I think that's a mistake.
Well,
that is breathtaking. Understand, we're talking about a military man, lifelong military man, extremely accomplished, knows his shit. And he's saying the UFO phenomenon needs to be understood within a broader context of all of these subjects that our science has put to the side and ignored or shamed people for being involved with them. I double dog dare you try to shame John B. Alexander. No, really. Go ahead. Make my day. Would you do me a favor when you try to shame this man? Video it for me, would you? I would love to see the fight that ensues. I'm willing to bet money John B. Alexander kicks your butt. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm looking at you, cowboy. Yeah, let's keep going. This man amazes me yet again in this interview. That is really nifty what he says here.
Well, as someone with a background in parapsychology, I know that many parapsychologists, even though they understand that parapsychological phenomenon are associated with UFOs, often feel that there's too much political, social pressure on them just doing the narrow work they want to do, and to try and handle several areas of the paranormal at once becomes overwhelming.
That's why I get back to, in my view, that what we're looking at is something that is terribly complex, and there is not a single simple answer for any of these, or looking at them in isolation. I really think, and I've asked for a step back phenomenon where we look at the observations and then do a macro pattern analysis on that and say, okay, what are the patterns that come up? And I do believe that consciousness is going to be a key piece of that.
Let's understand the implications of this. In the interview with Richard Dolan and this class consciousness expert that Dolan talks to, which I will do a commentary, realistically, probably tomorrow night. We are not living in a world based upon grit, in a cosmos of grit. The substrate, the ground is of consciousness. And this interview with the great UFO historian and scholar Richard Dolan is absolutely jaw-droppingly awesome. And I'm really excited to share my views of this. I was raised with Carl Sagan, Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, to name the three most popular in my childhood and teenage years. I never could read the science fiction of Asimov very much, but I've even kept several of his books. I'm going to do a backyard professor move on you, and I'm going to show you the books that turned me on that I have of Isaac Asimov. Several dozen books that I bothered to keep. There's Asimov's autobiographical encyclopedia of science and technology. Every scientist under the sun discussed. There's his triple book, Understanding Physics, 3 books in one, all under one cover. There is Asimov on science, one of my very favorite Asimov books. There's Asimov on physics. There's Asimov on astronomy. I've read all of these several times. Science, Numbers, and I. Asimov on numbers. He helped me get interested in math. As far as human eye could see. Oh, and this is this is Martin Gardner, The Ambidextrous Universe, another one that I was raised on. And then X stands for unknown, Isaac Asimov. These men did not take kindly to the material John B. Alexander's talking about right now. They called it woo-woo. James Randi, the famous debunker, etc. None of them like this stuff. Here we have a military man in the know, behind the scenes, not only with the correct personnel, but with the records and with the experiences of knowing full well that the UFO phenomenon is actual, that it is in our cosmos, and that it is here with us. And the proper way to study it is not compartmentalize it, one thing at a time. We miss too much. We do an interdisciplinary study and bring in all of it. The old labels of, say, consciousness, of parapsychology, of the paranormal, of the supernatural, those are just labels. And that lazy type of thinking of labeling a phenomenon because we don't understand it and it's not exactly physical, therefore we mock it and put it to the side and do real science. No, those days are over. John B. Alexander has the better way. One more item I wish to share from John B. Alexander that is truly interesting. I was really pleased to see this because I'm also going to share my views and information on this gentleman just as soon as I can.
Related incidences.
Right. Now, I know you are associated with Jacques Vallée, the French UFO researcher. Well, he's lived in the United States now for many decades, someone I've interviewed as well. He has a unique hypothesis involving UFOs, and one that I think you're quite sympathetic to.
Yeah, and he did the foreword to my book.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, our philosophical position on it is very, very similar. And I think he comes down the same way he did, Passport to Magonia. And this is terribly complex, and it doesn't fit any simple solutions.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I understand it, Jacques Vallée goes a bit further. Do you agree with him when he suggests it's a control system of some type, that somebody is somewhere, some conscious entity somewhere is pulling levers, attempting to manipulate the human race in some way through these mysterious phenomena, probably at a subconscious level?
Well, I'll go back. This is where I think we need to look in the broader context, because this occurs in all of these phenomena. As you know, in the book, I pointed out something what I call the precognitive sentient phenomena. Yeah. And this is based on some things we did at, quote, Skinwalker Ranch, if you will, where very, very strange incidents happen. And the trickster is known throughout history.
In all mythology.
Yeah, throughout mythology that says, there's somebody kind of screwing with us. Is it a control mechanism? Don't know. Yeah. But what I found was that there was something out there that was looking, and I say precognitive. It knew how we were going to respond to a certain incident before the incident occurred. It was certainly smart or sentient and absolutely in control.
So understand this. And the Christians immediately label this demonic because it's not coming through their religion. But that's just an interpretation. Chris Bledsoe shows that it's full of light, love, and healing. This fear of the unknown is what drives us to interpret the Bible and other sacred literatures into categorizing either good or evil. We're still pretty black and white in our thinking when it comes to religion. But this doesn't have to be that way. There is an interdisciplinary approach. You notice the substratum underneath that lever of control of we humans, or at least, if not control, influence. Because we're so stupid. We're so warlike. We are so narrow-minded and blinkered in our thinking that maybe we don't have the intellectual, the spiritual capability that we need to move forward into higher realms of reality and truth and knowledge. And maybe they're trying to control us without enslaving us in a way to help us not make mistakes of no return, fatalistic mistakes, not only for our species, but for the planet. Now, I get it. That too is an interpretation. But the potential of making our minds open up to the very real possibility now that there is something greater than we are. Swallow our egos, drop the arrogance, and learn from this greater consciousness by beginning to utilize our own consciousness in a better, more new and improved, useful, loving way. We might be in for some terrific surprises as we integrate these various relationships and disciplines instead of prejudging them. Oh, yeah, that one we won't study. Nope, that one we won't study. Oh, this is true science. Oh, this one, nope, no good. Oh, this one and this one and this one. Now, those are true science, so we're allowed to study them. I think that day is fast leaving us in the dust. We've entered, for more or less lack of a better definition, we are in a new age. And it's so remarkable that that is not only psychologically, for us as a species, maybe hopefully for us as many individuals as can change and cooperate and adjust into this new age, we are entering the age of Aquarius on a cosmological scale that is not woo-woo, but it is the precession of the equinoxes. We are entering a new age, and it's going to be going from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. Lots of great food for thought. Thanks for watching my BYP Responds videos. I'll be back with a lot more. I am learning boatloads every day, and I'm going to be sharing boatloads with you every day as I can. Appreciate all your support. Hit the like button and the subscribe. Feel free to share these videos with those of you who might find it useful and uplifting and encouraging. We're in the middle of a mystery, the greatest mystery of which there is. What a fabulous time to be alive. for real. And I'm thrilled to be able to be blessed enough to share it with you and hopefully bless your lives as well. Get out of here. I've got books to read.